The small flat buzzed with laughter. Arjun, the practical one, argued playfully with Priya, whose quick wit kept them all entertained. Rahul, quiet and observant, watched a news report flashing on their old TV, his brow furrowed. Neha, ever the optimist, tried to lighten the mood with a Bollywood song, her voice ringing out. "It's getting worse," Rahul said, his voice tight. The news showed angry mobs, fires burning in the streets. Riots had gripped Mumbai, fueled by old hatreds. "We should be safe here," Arjun said, though a flicker of worry crossed his face. Neha stopped singing. "What about Meera?" she asked, her voice small. Meera, their little firecracker of a friend, was stuck across town, visiting their aunt. A heavy silence fell over the room. Outside, the city roared. Fear hung heavy in the air, thick and suffocating like the smoke that now filled their tiny apartment. The news played on, a constant reminder of the chaos outside. Meera, their friend, their family, was out there, alone and vulnerable. "We have to go get her," Priya said, her voice shaking slightly but her eyes firm. She wouldn't voice the fear that gnawed at her, not in front of the others. Not when Meera needed them. Arjun, ever practical, started listing the dangers, the risks. But even he couldn't ignore the desperate plea in Neha's eyes, or the quiet determination on Rahul's face. They had to try. As the last rays of the setting sun painted the sky a bloody red, they stepped out of their safe haven and into the heart of the riot-torn city. The streets were a nightmare. Fires raged, casting eerie shadows that danced menacingly on the walls. The air was thick with smoke and the stench of burning tires. The sounds of violence, shouts, screams, shattering glass echoed through the concrete canyons, a terrifying symphony of chaos. They moved like shadows themselves, sticking to the side streets, their hearts pounding in unison with the city's frenzied rhythm. Each one of them clung to the hope that Meera was safe, the fear of what they might find fueling their every step. And then they saw it. A fleeting glimpse at first. A figure made of smoke and shadow, lurking at the edge of their vision. It vanished before they could get a good look, leaving them with a cold dread that settled deep in their stomachs. Something was hunting in the darkness. The fear was a living thing now, coiling around their throats, squeezing the air from their lungs. Priya's usual humor was gone, replaced by a grim silence. Rahul, always the quiet one, seemed to withdraw further into himself, his eyes scanning their surroundings with an intensity that spoke volumes. They pressed on, their fear for Meera a greater motivator than their terror of the unknown. Each shadow seemed to hold the lurking creature, every flicker of light a potential sign of its approach. The riot, with its human violence, was almost a comfort compared to the chilling dread of the supernatural. As they rounded a corner, they saw it again, more clearly this time. A grotesque silhouette formed in the smoke billowing from a burning car, its eyes two burning embers that seemed to track their every move. A low growl, guttural and inhuman, sent shivers down their spines. They found Meera hiding in a small shop, its windows boarded shut. Her eyes were wide with terror, her small frame trembling. Relief washed over them, momentarily eclipsing their fear. But the relief was short-lived. The creature was close. They could feel its malevolent presence, smell the stench of sulfur and decay that clung to it like a shroud. It stalked them, circling like a predator, toying with its prey. Arjun quickly devised a plan. They would create a distraction, lure the creature away from Meera, give her a chance to escape. It was a desperate plan, but they had to try. "Remember, we're stronger together," Neha whispered, her voice trembling but her eyes shining with a fierce determination. Their bond, forged in laughter and shared dreams, would be tested like never before. The creature lunged, a whirlwind of smoke and claws, drawn by their fear, their desperation, but they were ready. Arjun, fueled by a strength he never knew he possessed, slammed a burning log from a nearby fire into the creature's path. The creature recoiled, momentarily distracted. Priya, her wit as sharp as ever, taunted it, her words laced with a courage that belied her fear. Rahul, usually so reserved, surprised them all. He stepped forward, his eyes locked on the creature, and started to sing. It was an old prayer, his grandmother's lullaby, its melody filled with hope and light. The song seemed to weaken the creature, its form flickering, its growls becoming whimpers. And then Neha, her voice trembling but filled with love, joined in. Her voice, usually so full of joy, now held a note of defiance, of love that refused to be cowed. The creature, overwhelmed by their combined love, their unity, their refusal to be broken, let out a deafening roar and then dissolved into nothingness. The first rays of dawn painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, washing away the horrors of the night. The city, still smoldering in places, was eerily quiet. The rioters had vanished, leaving behind a trail of destruction and the bitter taste of hatred. The four friends sat huddled together on the steps of a crumbling building, their faces drawn and pale, but their eyes shining with a newfound respect for each other. Mira, safe in Neha's arms, looked up at them, her eyes wide with awe. "You saved me," she whispered. "We saved each other," Priya corrected gently, placing a comforting arm around the younger girl's shoulders. The journey back to their neighborhood was long and tiring, but they walked hand in hand, their silence speaking volumes. They had seen the worst of humanity, the darkest corners of their city, and yet they had also witnessed the extraordinary strength that came from love and friendship. As they finally reached their street, the rising sun casting long shadows behind them, they knew that life would never be the same. They had faced their fears and emerged stronger, their bond unbreakable. The city might bear the scars of the riot, but they carried the light of their shared experience, a beacon of hope in a world that desperately needed it. The future was uncertain, but they would face it together, their friendship a guiding star in the darkest of nights.